Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer, welcome back to American Truck Simulator, and welcome back to Eureka, California. So, yep, it's raining. It is, it's not too late. I want to say it's about 1:30 in the afternoon, and we need to get a move on. And this is going to be, I think, unfortunately, this video may be very similar to the one we did last time, but I'm trying to get back on schedule. So it is Friday for me, Saturday for you. And I want to, sorry, that's me spooling. I'm spooling, I'm buffering. No. I don't even see it unless it's around the corner. Right, we're supposed to pick up a heavy haul job here. And we may end up driving it at night a little bit. We may end up driving at night a little bit, but we got to get back on schedule. So, freight market. Heavy. Yep, there it is. This is going to Reading. I think that is a perfect trip for us. It's heading the direction we want to go. But man, I don't even know if we're going to be able to get out of this parking lot. And this is the bucket. This is the excavator bucket. At 189,000 pounds, I think this is the heaviest cargo in the special transport pack. Oh, okay, they got us in a different locale. We're not tucked back in that little tight parking lot. Fantastic. I love it. It does take a while to load these, though. It's not an hour like the regular whatever. It takes a hot minute. Okay, where are we going? Where's our guy? There he is. So we're going that way. No, we got to go this way. But I think we're waiting on our pilot vehicle and they can't get in front of us. Oh, hell. All right. We got a cop in front of us. Okay. Okay, cop in front, pick up behind. Now it's all starting to make sense. Yeah, I'm sorry if I sound a little bit scattered today. I mean, I'm always a little bit scattered. Fucking hell. So I slept. We pulled in here at, I want to say about 1, and it's 6:30. So yeah, we're going to be driving at night. It stopped raining in the meantime. So we'll turn those off. Right. I'm all off schedule. The whole week has been off schedule. The videos have been out of order. Everything has been just wonky boo-boo. And then I woke up this morning ready to record this and get back on schedule. And the tree trimmers pulled in at, what, like 7 a.m.? Turn the brights off. Sorry, officer. The tree trimmers pulled in at like 7 a.m. and went to work. So there was a wood chipper right outside my window for hours. And I think they either knocked off for lunch or they're done for the day. But it's quiet. And I need to get this done because I'm heading out of town tonight. So this was the job that was going the right way. And because we're not on an owned trailer at the moment, we were on those for too many episodes. We're not on an owned trailer. So I thought, let's do some heavy haul jobs. And there's really nothing heavy going out of Eureka. Certainly not in the direction we want to go in. Oh, poor visibility. Certainly not in the direction we want to go in. So it ended up being special transport. Again, not a big deal. And I've hooked these trailers too many times the past few trips. We are going to swing it. Extremely wide. Yep. Yep, got it. Okay, and there's our little Ram pickup behind us. Okay, cool. So we're rolling. So yeah, it's everything is off. Nothing makes sense anymore. The world is topsy-turvy. It's a mess right now. But I had to do this to get back on schedule. Post this as my regular Saturday video. And this is my window to record it. And I'm really, I don't know, I'm like half out of my mind right now. But I don't know if you get like that when you game. Are there ever times when you're like, yeah, done with my projects for the day, home from work, gonna open a beer, gonna pour a glass of wine, gonna game a little bit. You get all that sorted out, you sit down and you're like, yeah, okay. And you're just not feeling it. And it's like you are feeling it because you want a game, but at the same time, it's like, I'm just not feeling it. That's sort of where I'm at right now. You know, something else that's kind of weird. is I got Ride 3, and I've been all about Ride 3, like you do. I don't know if you get how do I want to say this? So they talk about games having legs now, having a long tail, a game that you can play for a long, long time, versus games that you play a lot quickly for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then you sort of beat them or you're just done, you know, and you move on to the next game. So when I think about sim gaming, something like Euro Truck, and this game really hasn't, there have been things added to it, but it's really been essentially the same game for years. And Euro Truck 2, well, this is American Truck, you know what I mean. The Truck Simulator series from SCS Carefully, beautiful. There's really nothing different about them for years now. You're just driving a truck. And yet, I'm totally into it. People are totally into it. They're very popular. Describe this as a game with a long tail, right? And I look at something like Ride 3 and I think, that should have a long tail. That's a game that you could play for years and years. Drop a little DLC on me now and then, milestone. Send a little something my way. Break a piece off for Sweet William, and we're good to go. And then I find myself playing it like an RPG or a shooter, or you know what I mean, the kind of game that you play intensely till you beat it and then you never really play it again. That's how I'm playing it. And I thought, I don't want to do that, man. It's got a long tail. I just said it's got a long tail. We don't need to do that. And then I realized these sims, not this one's pretty mellow, but a lot of sims are so intense now that you sort of have to play them very aggressively, maybe? Is that the right word? You sort of have to play them that way to learn how to be good at them. So something like Ride 3, even if I just played it a couple days ago, when I hop back in it, I'm like, all right, now how's this work again? And my first couple races, I'm just worthless. And then like the flow comes back. And I guess that ties in with something that I'm observing about serious racing sims like iRacing and that sort of thing, where if you want to be good at it, you can't just like kind of faff about, as they say. You know, you can't jump from car to car and track to track. You need to pick a car, you need to pick a class, and then you need to pick a car, and then you need to focus on tracks that car would race on in series if you're going to be competitive on them. And I feel like even though I'm only playing Ride 3 as single player right now, I feel like it's kind of that same deal. Now they do run you through, well, I guess most single player race sims do this, motorcycle or car. They do tend to run you through a series where you have to like win gold in tons and tons of different classes and different genres, I guess, different styles or whatever. Just tons and tons and tons. And that's cool, you know, but I also feel like you're becoming proficient at a lot of bikes, but you're not really becoming an expert at anything, or cars or whatever. So it was just interesting to realize that it's like, unless you play that game kind of obsessively, it's hard to get good at it. So yeah, and something else that I noticed is I see a lot of YouTubers that are into sim, and it seems like most of them sim typically 1 or sometimes 2 sims, but not a ton. And there's some people that are doing what I'm doing now. Admittedly, most of the sims that I'm in, like ATS that we're in right now, American Truck Simulator, it's not really a simulator. It's a video game. And it's not hard to be adequate at it. I've seen some YouTubers that are they are like next level. But as far as being adequate, like we're in special transport, which is arguably one of the harder jobs in the sim, we're doing okay. I'm all distracted, you know, I'm all cranky, and I'm keeping it together. If I were trying to compete in iRacing right now, I would not be. I would be in the wall. So I guess this is easier to be good at than some sims. But I see people that play a lot of different sims, and they play them all well enough to be entertaining, I guess. I'm not putting anybody down when I say that. I'm just making the observation. Or they play sims like this that are more, I guess, fun to watch and fun to play, but they're not super intense. They don't require a ton of focus. So that's, I guess, one take on it, where you play a lot of different sims. Okay, you know, But people that I see that are really into like racing sims or motorcycle sims or whatever, they tend to play fewer. And I think it's because of exactly what I was saying earlier. Like, it's just, these games are so detailed now. It's not like the old console days, the old arcade days, where you could just memorize a few patterns and you were good to go. Like, you gotta study this stuff, man. So long tail, I mentioned long tail earlier, and I was reading something about AAA games and AAA game studios, and what was it? Was it GTA 5? Yeah, I think it was GTA 5 was the example that they gave. That game cost a minimum of $265 million to develop. And it could have been significantly more. Wow, it's just all cops, man. There's no citizens out today. It's just all cops. That game cost a minimum of $265 million to develop just for the game. Marketing was more, and the development could have been more, but they'll cop to $265 million. That's unbelievable. That is just unbelievable. And that's the kind of thing that can destroy a business. Like, if you get that wrong. And so a lot of, and again, this is what this story said, this article. Could be right, could be wrong. I don't know. It's food for thought either way. But what they said was that price tag kind of shocked the industry so badly and really put investors kind of on the hot seat, or I guess the investors put the developers back on the hot seat. Because if you're a publicly traded company and you pull a stunt like that and get lucky, your investors, your big-time shareholders are going to pull you aside and be like, listen, that thing you did, don't ever do it again. So where things have started to move after that, and you can see it in the games that are being released and the way that they're being released. But for me, I didn't really like connect the dots until I connected the dots. And what I realized is a lot more games are coming out now. They're not as comprehensive, I guess. I mean, you look at something like Red Dead Redemption 2, I would say that's the exception. I'm feeling like a lot of games are being released now, and they're smaller and more compact, and they're looking to the DLC model. And I think that's great. And what this story said was that's less development time up front, less employees, less cumbersome projects to manage, because I mean, we all know this from college, but any model, doesn't matter whether it's economic, political, business, anything, any model, when it becomes sufficiently complex, sufficiently complicated, it also becomes unstable. And that's just a truism. Make something complex enough and it will be unstable. So when you move away from those big, cumbersome, multi-year projects and move into smaller, more flexible, more adaptable 12 or 18 month projects, and you got a smaller budget, you have a smaller staff, this is kind of dicey, but we're doing it. That changes everything. And instead of releasing a game that is just as a random number, we'll say a game that is 10 units, you release a game that's 3 units, and then over the next 18 months you release 7 units of DLC. It's the same end result. You're just taking smaller bites of the apple. So that they're calling that model, and this is not, they didn't invent the term for gaming, but that's that in the business, in the industry, they call that the long tail. And that's something that people are going to put money into for a long, long time, rather than putting money into it briefly and then never again. And a couple videos ago, I was talking about how gaming had been moving toward the Hollywood movie model, where you spend an enormous amount of money making a film, and then it has to make its money in 3 to 4 weeks. And if it doesn't, oh well, because the next movies are coming out and people aren't going to go see it. And you'll get a little bump from when it comes out on Blu-ray, and then maybe a smaller bump when Netflix licenses it or whatever. But you know what I'm saying. So if you're wrong, there's really nothing you can do. You've made an enormous commitment, you've made an enormous investment, and if you're wrong, you're just effed in the A dry, you know? Whereas a much smaller commitment, like I said, it gives you a lot more adaptability, a lot more flexibility. If you're wrong, you're a lot less wrong. And I think that's why we're seeing like big time directors and big time stars on Netflix and Amazon making projects, because instead of asking for $250 million to make a movie, it's like, how about you give me a couple $1 million an episode and I'll do 10 or 12 a year for you, right? We'll see how that goes. If it goes well, we'll pick it up for next year. And because it's on Netflix, it's something that people can watch, not necessarily over and over, but that people can be exposed to and have access to much more so than they do like a feature film that you go see at an IMAX. That's kind of an all or nothing Friday night commitment. Whereas Netflix is like, oh, you know, I'll just pop on some Netflix while I'm making dinner and watch whatever and whatever. So that is an interesting model, and I feel something like iRacing definitely fits that model. You get the game for free, and then you just buy cars as you go, and you can play that game for years and years and years. And on the other side, maybe, is something like Ride 3. I guess that's why I started thinking about that, is like, where does this one come down? Because the way the career system is set up, it's like it almost wants you to kind of bust through that career system, and you need to play the game a lot to get good and stay good at it. Sorry, buddy, I gotta bright you here. It's like you need to play it a lot to get good at it and stay good at it. But that puts you back into that potential burnout position where you've spent so much time playing the game that now it's like, oh man, I just want to be done with this. This isn't even fun anymore. And I don't know. I mean, maybe that's just me. Designing a video game has got to be just unbelievably challenging, because you're looking for all the things that a Hollywood director is looking for, which is basically to not please people, but to like get it right, you know, to make something that people enjoy. And then on top of that, you have all the technical stuff that you need to balance. And, you know, I think about, like, we'll use Ride 3 as an example. I think about that, and it's like a game has to be, it's got to be hard, but it's got to be just hard enough. It can't be too hard, right? And I mean, maybe Cuphead is the exception to that rule, because Cuphead, man, I was watching people play Cuphead online. First off, I never played it. I never even bothered. I had no interest in that. That game looks insane. But watching people try to play it, it just looked so incredibly difficult. Or something like Getting Over It. I don't know if you're familiar with Getting Over It, but that's a game that's like, I mean, there are games that are designed to be fun, I guess, or designed to be challenging, and then maybe they drive you a little bit crazy. Getting Over It, it's like, it was designed to make you crazy. Like, it was designed to bug you. So, you don't want your fun game to do that. You don't want your motorcycle simulation to do that. But at the same time, it's got to be challenging enough, and it's got to be challenging in a specific way where it's like, yes, this is difficult, but if I do these things, then I will be successful, and it will be fun. Right? And then on top of that, with something like Ride 3, because those are all real motorcycles, the developers have to be mindful of the fact that people playing that sim might know those motorcycles. And that's, in my case, there are several motorcycles represented there that I've owned and ridden in the past. And it's like, yeah, it does need to be, I expect those bikes to sound and perform the way they're supposed to. Right. Taking a look out here. What side are we going in on? Ooh. Ooh, okay. So you get what I'm saying. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. I don't know. Maybe I don't even know what I'm saying. Anything is possible. I am going to mount the curb. Call the landscaper. Right. Okay. Piece of cake. We're just going straight in. I think we can do it in cab from here. Well, that was perfect. Where are we at? 20 minutes? That was great. I didn't hit anything. I didn't hook on anything. This is fantastic. So, let's get this parked. We'll shut her down. I don't think we're going to level up. We are like miles from leveling up. But it's getting harder. We're at level 32. We got a ways to go. There it is. Right. Put her in neutral. Main beam's off. Engine off. No. No, no. There we go. Parking lights on. Whew. Too many key combos to remember. Let's see how we did. Beautiful. All right. Yeah. 32. We got a ways to go. Folks, thanks for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of American Truck Simulator. And we'll see you next time. Take care now.